Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're going to be a craftier person after watching this video. I worked for local government in the printing department. Over the years we caught many mistakes before jobs went to press. Our customers were usually extremely grateful as we saved money from their budgets and sometimes spared them embarrassment too. So when we were told to print a very high profile document from the chief executive for every householder in the borough, I gave it a quick once over. Lucky I did because there was a bad spelling error in the front page headline. If published, the press would have had a field day. It came to us via the communications team, so I called the comms officer responsible and was expecting her to be grateful. On the contrary, she interrupted me before I could even tell her what the mistake was and haughtily declared that the document had been double, triple, quadruple checked, even checked by the chief executive himself, and that I, presumably because I was a Lodi print officer, must be mistaken. Yes, I was pissed off and I was sorely tempted to let the job run unaltered, but I figured that the comms officer wouldn't be the one getting in trouble. It would be whoever signed off on the final proof, probably in the chief exec's office, and as the print unit, the public would assume it was our fault. No way, not having that. So I fired off a quick email. Hi Karen, regarding our conversation earlier today, I called you to let you know that there's an error in the headline of the hugely important document, but you assured me that I must be mistaken. Just to confirm that we'll begin printing regardless, as per your instructions. Regards, OP. CC, Karen's boss. Funnily enough, we received a very hasty call asking us to put the job on hold. Lack of common sense cost the customer some sense. So my husband, whom we shall call Craig, works as a supervisor for a parking company at an airport. He told me this tale, which I hope fits here. As well as storing cars securely while customers fly out to other places, Craig's work also offers a wash service and valet service. Additionally, they service 4 different terminals and have 3 different car parks, including an undercover car park for their customers' vehicles. So it goes without saying that customers' cars are sometimes moved, i.e. from a car park into the wash bay, between terminals depending on where a customer is leaving from or returning to, or to drop a customer off at the terminal or to pick them up. This means that a small amount of fuel is used up in the process. Most customers understand this, but not Susan. No. Susan, not her real name obviously, made a complaint that after picking up her car she discovered that 5 kilometers of her car's estimated range had been used. Estimated range tells you the approximate distance the car can travel on the current level of fuel and isn't always 100% accurate. Even if it was, 5 kilometers isn't unreasonable when considering Susan's drop-off, travel between terminals to park the car, travel to their wash area and travel to pick her up. But Susan wants to be compensated for her 5 kilometers of fuel that they stole from her. After coming up with an idea, Craig talks to the owner. Craig says they should calculate how many kilometers is in a full tank on Susan's make of car and then calculate exactly how many litres of fuel 5 kilometers would be at current fuel prices. They do so and find it comes to a cost of 30, maybe 40 cents. So Craig's boss calls Susan and tells her they're very sorry and will refund the cost of the fuel used directly to her credit card. Susan is smug as a pug, until she finds out that amount is 30 odd cents. She's even less pleased with the fee of $2 for the transaction from using her credit card. Don't ask me why, but Craig's company card machines charge for credit transactions under a certain amount. Anyway, Susan's complaint ended up costing her $1.70, and the best thing, she couldn't argue because Craig and his boss did exactly what she asked. Edit for clarity. Craig's company charges $2 for transactions on Amex or Diners cards, which the woman was aware of as she paid for her booking using one of those cards. There's also big signs in their offices about this surcharge. This applies to any transactions for these cards, including refunds. I guess she just forgot when she accepted the refund. Customer think he knows more about freight than my company who has done it for 40 years. Shuts down his company because of lack of material. Long time lurker, first time poster, obligatory on mobile reference. Sorry for formatting, English is not my first language. Certain details are changed and left out so it's not obvious who I'm talking about. This is also going to be a long one. Edit 1. Added TLDR. So a little background, I work for a logistics packaging and warehousing company that delivers freight all over the world. We have lots of customers who have issues with getting material in time to keep their production going, and when there is an issue with material, they usually listen to us, since we know how to get something from A to B quickly. We have one customer who forgot to order material and now was close to shutting down his production. Fortunately, the supplier who was in another country had material on hand to deliver. We notified the customer that we could get material to him before shutting down his production, but we would have to ship this immediately so as not to delay his production. Now, since our company understands the need of our customers, we usually just ship material if we know it's needed and we can't wait for approval. This is the exchange that happened with me and their logistics manager. LM, logistics manager, customer. Me, some guy who knows nothing about freight. PM, purchasing manager, customer. Since this material is also in another country with a time difference of about 8 hours, you don't really have a lot of time to talk to people to get things moving. Day 1, logistics manager. I need dimensions, weight and also some quotes so I can make a decision on how we want to move this. I can try to get you that, but because you need it in a few days and because of customs and the time difference, we really need to move this immediately. I don't care. I need quotes and also want to quote this myself. Okay, I will ask our other office if they can provide that. I talked this out with our other office in the night and we made the decision to ignore the logistics manager and just fly it, because a shutdown in production would cost them thousands per hour. Day 2, logistics manager. Do you have quotes for me? Sorry, I don't. Because of the time constraints that I explained to you yesterday, we shipped this already. What do you mean you shipped this? I need quotes before I make a decision. As I explained yesterday, if I had waited for quotes we would have lost one day, then you would have made a decision letting us know a few hours after our other office and supplier are already gone. Then to do customs and a flight plus customs here at the destination would have taken another 2 to 3 days. Your production would have been minimum halted for 1 to 2 days. We had no other choice but to ship immediately. So on day 4 they had their parts at the plant, but the logistics manager was not getting the freight costs approved, which means we were not going to be paid. I got the call from the purchasing department, who I get along great with. Purchasing manager: Hey OP, I have this PO request on my desk and my logistics manager is telling me you never gave him any quotes. I'm sorry, but without quotes I cannot approve this cost. Hey purchasing manager, here's the situation. Your logistics manager screwed up and was going to shut down your production because he has no clue how international freight and customs work. If we had listened to him we would have shut you down. We decided to ignore him because of that, and here is our email correspondence. I attached all the emails, even one where he said we should have shipped FedEx or UPS, which would have taken over a week to deliver. Purchasing manager looking through the emails and laughing. I understand. I will push this PO through, but from now on just do what he says, even if you know we will shut down. Okay. So just the following week we then had the same issue again with some other material. We gave him quotes which took 1 day and let him make a decision. Not being completely malicious, we even warned him we need an answer immediately so he would not have any problems. He finally gave us an answer by morning of the next day. This meant we had lost 2 days already. Then we had to do the customs clearance at origin, which takes another day. Day 3, material goes to the airport. The next day, day 4 flies. The day after, day 5 arrives at the destination airport. Day 6, since it's the weekend, no customs clearance till Monday. The logistics manager has already shut his production down by this point. Monday, customs clearance. We get pulled in for customs inspection. More delays. Parts get finally delivered to them on day 8 at the end of the day. His production has been down for 2 days already and they are way behind. After this incident, we all get pulled into a meeting with the plant manager, LM and PM to explain the major F-up that happened. Logistics manager tried to blame us for everything and says we took too long. Luckily, I have everything in writing informing him what happens if we do it this way. We get dismissed, and logistics manager gets reamed by then plant manager. From then on out, logistics manager hasn't questioned us since, and when we tell him it needs to be done a certain way, he accepts it. Change the display back to the way it was before? Okay. I've shared a few of my work-related malicious compliance stories before, and this week I got another one. So I'm currently helping out some friends who run a cafe that is on the ground floor of a shared office building. One of the companies that have an office upstairs produces and publishes magazines. So inside the cafe there is a large wall display of these. The display is a set of cube shelves, and I know from photos on the publisher's website that it was originally set up with a single magazine displayed in each cube. But since I've been there, about 6 weeks, the display has been a total mess. Some cubes are empty, some have 3 or 4 magazines stuffed into them. Some of the magazines are literally 4 or 5 years out of date despite the publisher bringing out a new issue every quarter. Staff from this company would regularly come down to the cafe to check up on the magazine sales. Customers can buy them through the cafe, although 100% of the sale goes directly to the publishers. So I figured one of them would eventually reorganize the display. Nope, after 6 weeks of almost daily visits from the publishers, the display has not been touched. They drop off new shipment of new issues, but never put them on display or remove any of the old ones. I have worked in visual merchandising before and know that a crappy disorganized display is a great way to kill sales, and since no one at the publishers seems to want to do anything about it, I decided to use some spare time this week to sort it out myself. I took all the old issues away and tucked them in the back. Very occasionally a customer will ask for an obscure back edition and I don't want to throw anything out that didn't belong to me. Then made sure the display was full and organised. Each cube contained a magazine like before, and I even organised them chronologically so it was easy for customers to find what they wanted. All round it looked pretty great afterwards, and customers were buying copies much more frequently than before, so I figured it was a good job done. Nope again. Yesterday morning one of the publishers came by demanding to know who had messed with their shelves. I explained that a lot of the cubes were empty and customers seemed to be unhappy, so I decided to reorganise it for them. She was furious, shouting about how those shelves are nothing to do with me, that her staff keep the shelves filled and organised, which was undoubtedly not true, but whatever. After being thoroughly chewed out for trying to help, I asked what she would like me to do. Put it back how it was. Sure thing, douchebag. A half hour later, all the shiny new issues I had put out for them were stuffed into a shelf behind our bar, like before. All the dusty old issues that hardly anyone buys were back out, like before, and the displays were a mishmash of empty bare cubes next to one so stuffed full of magazines that customers couldn't even see what was in them, like before. Needless to say, we haven't sold a single magazine since I put the display back yesterday morning, and the bemused looks on the faces of the other publishing staff as they walk through suggest they, like me, now realise how crappy the display looks. I could always ask them if they'd like me to sort it out again, but I'm not going to. After all, it's nothing to do with me. Okay, so that's all for r/MaliciousCompliance. I really hope you did enjoy this one. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!